Um, and then there's this other post as well from Chris that he actually shared. I believe this was today, which was just some data about tournaments, which I always think is really interesting. We talked about this, I think, last year when he put this same graph out. So figure we could do an update now this year. He said this month, San Antonio in the U.S. and Birmingham, UK, marked 5 premier events in each of North America and Europe for the 2025 season. Here is how the average attendance looks for each game at the halfway point of the season. So comparing past season numbers, I think this is full season numbers, and this is just 2025 so far for each of these respective things. But yeah, continuing to see a pretty sizable increase year over year, slowing down a little bit, right? 1,200 in 23 to 2,000 in 2024 is a lower percentage increase than 2,000 to 2,500. But I mean, that's still a 25%
Yeah.
increase, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, still a lot. And then even like, I mean, from 2022 to 2023 was almost 100% increase, or not quite. It was like 70% increase. That's like still pretty ridiculous. Went from 700 to 1,200, which is only 500 players, but the percentage increase is still really, really big.
Yeah. And a large part of that, obviously, I think has to do with COVID, right? Like a lot of people weren't going to tournaments in 2022, not because of COVID, but because of it was like a half season, right? So it was like impossible. I like
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
people
That's
weren't going out of
true.
their way to qualify for Worlds because you couldn't qualify really in 2022 unless you
Events are still
already
selling
had
out
points
though.
from 2020. They were selling out. You're right. Yeah,
That's like a
cap.
big thing to actually point out as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I think the caps, like from 2022 onwards, the caps have been getting hit less and less. So like the numbers like in 2023, 2024 maybe could have been bigger if the caps were higher. Who knows, right? Because like we definitely hit less caps this year than we have the past couple years,
Yeah,
or
and
as quickly, I guess.
it does look like in the replies here, Chris says that they'll share this same information for the other regions, so Oceania and Latin America at the end of the season. They just haven't had as many tournaments to give like a
Yeah,
reasonable average, right? You can't really gauge what the actual year over year interest is if there's only been 2 tournaments in the region, right? But yeah, and then looking
exactly. Yeah.
at looking at EU, their numbers are pretty similar as to what we experienced, right? From 23 to 24. It's like almost the
Mhm.
exact same thing, right? 1,200 to about 2,000.
Yeah.
And their events are selling out faster than ours
Yeah.
are at the moment.